Hey guys, it's Mario here, and today I'd like to talk to you about my favorite book, Principles, written by Ray Dalio. And before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on other cool videos, and hit that like button, right? So yeah, if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. It's been my guide. These principles in this book has been my guide in making decisions, and it's been very valuable to me. So if you don't know Ray Dalio, it's an entrepreneur investor who has founded a company called Bridgewater out of his bedroom, and he's built it into the largest hedge fund and one of the most important companies, US private companies, right? So, and he talks about basically the principles that he has developed, right, over his career, over his life. This book is actually divided into life principles and work principles, right? And they are both super important. So let me share with you some life principles, right? So, the first one, embrace reality and deal with it. So many people live into delusion, right? People lie themselves to avoid harsh truth and reality because it's kind of hard to deal with it for many people, right? And so that's not the way to succeed in life, because the only way how you can move forward is to be rooted in reality, because only that way you can find what's truth and and how to deal with it. Because if you live in the delusion, then you are just bouncing around, right? Another so let's take a look at something else. So, he talks about look to nature to learn how reality works, right? So nature is everything, and let's take a look at the example what's happening currently in the world, right? We live in the crazy times. So you want to make the nature your friend, right? You cannot, because Mother Nature loves last, and we human species have been abusing nature for far too long, and now look at us, we are locked down because of the virus, right? And nature doesn't care about that. The only thing that nature favors is the ability to replicate and reproduce, right? And this virus is reproducing really fast and is like just want to spread around, right? And that's what nature favors. Nature doesn't care about us, right? So, but you still want to understand how nature works, so you can understand the world around you, and make your nature a friend, not enemy, because otherwise you will regret it. And so he also talks about pain plus reflection equals progress, right? Own your outcomes. And so let me share with you 5-step process to get what you want out of life. So have clear goals. If you don't have clear goals, you don't know where you're going, like most people, right? If you don't have a goal, you're just drifting around without going anywhere. And then you need to identify and don't tolerate problems. So first you need to identify them. That's where most people fail as well, right? Because you cannot solve problems if you're not even able to identify them. And then diagnose problems to get at their root causes. So this is hugely important. This is what drives me crazy in our healthcare. Nobody is getting to the root cause of problems. People, like, you know, and our healthcare just covers the symptoms, and that's not the effective way to do it, because that's, you know, people live with diseases for their lives, like for 40, 50 years, just covering the symptoms. If healthcare would be looking at the root cause and address it, then people could live much healthier lives. But that's not how it works, and it's mainly because we humans, we do not care about prevention. We do not care about health, we care about beauty, right? And we start caring about health only when we get sick. So that's the major problem why it's not economically viable to make healthcare that way, right? People do not want to spend money on prevention when they feel healthy. They want to spend money when they get sick. And that's when they get these drugs that just cover their symptoms, because, you know, quick and fast, quote unquote, solution. My God. Design a plan. So you need to design a plan how you can get to your goals, and then you push through to completion, right? You have to stick to it, commit to it, and complete it. Remember that weaknesses don't matter if you find solutions. I like this one. Be radically open-minded. And guys, I used to be very close-minded when I was in high school and even the beginning years of college, I'd say. What helped me to become radically open-minded was that I started traveling. So traveling helped me a lot with this. I started seeing the world through different eyes and became super open-minded, and that helps a lot, because you cannot, if you have a closed mind, then you cannot see things that may be very important to you to move forward with your life. And so you need to recognize the signs of close-mindedness in you or people around you, right? You should watch out for it. And you need to learn how to make decisions effectively. So this is super important for business, right? If you are a business owner or if you want to build a business, if you just can't make decisions, so you're going to have a hard time. And you will make wrong decisions. There is no way around it, but you have to decide. You know, you cannot wait for years till you make decisions. Depends on what kind of decisions they are, but you need to have some level of decisiveness if you want to be a successful business owner. And then you need to understand that people are wired very differently, and you need to know how people are wired, so you know the way how to talk to them, right? And so you need to understand the power that comes from knowing how you and others are wired. So because that will make conversations much more efficient, and also the work, if you work with people, right? And so yeah, those are life principles, just examples of some of them. And now let's take a look quickly on work principles. So organization is a machine that consists of two major parts: culture and people. And culture is super important. That's where many companies fail at, right? If you do not build a great culture, and that culture is built from people, right? So, and once you build like a big enough company, that culture is growing on its own, right? You need to work that hard on it. But when in the beginning, like you want to work if you're hiring people, you want to hire people the same as you would hire someone who would. Ray Dalio explained it in the way that he would hire people that he would feel comfortable inviting to his own home as well, to his family, right? So that's a great rule, right? And it's because if you wouldn't, why would you want to work with that kind of people, right? If you don't feel comfortable around them, that's just going to break that company, or at least that position sooner or later in that company, right? Trust in so trust in radical truth and radical transparency. This is super cool, but most people just can't handle this, right? Most people can't handle truth. Not right. The radical truth, that's the next level. But if you tell people truth, they either get offended, they get angry at you, they stop talking to you, they host you, right? But that's it's really important, right? Because for both sides, if you are not told the truth, then you can't move forward in the right direction when you live in lie, right? And when you are doing a terrible job, then someone should point you to the right direction. But people are not. Either people can't tell that to people, or the other side can't handle it. And radical transparency, that's also important as well for success of a company. So Ray Dalio has built a great company with great principles. That's why it's been so successful, right? So you need to work very hard to find that kind of people who can handle those things. And some people can think that they can handle it, but they start experiencing and they discover that they just can't. That's what he was talking about in this book as well. So create a culture in which it is okay to make mistakes and unacceptable to learn from them. So it's okay to do mistakes, but you should learn from it at all times, right? So you need to recognize how to get beyond disagreements, right? And remember that who is more important than the what. So, you need to find the right people for the job you want them for. And hire right, because the penalties for hiring wrong are huge. So you are better off spending maybe 3-4 half a year trying to look for the right person and going through many interviews instead of hiring the third person that comes to interview, and they will fail to do the job for a year, right? So you need to work very hard to find those great people. Also, Steve Jobs was talking about this, that he was relentlessly trying to find A players, right? And that's how he was able to build Apple, because he found great people. And once he found those A players, they only wanted to work with another A players, right? So they wouldn't even let the other, like B and C players, they wouldn't let them in their circle. So find great people. So this, guys, it's a great book and I highly recommend it. It's going to change your life, right? Not just business. These life principles are super important, right? And another, like, it was also in life principles, but here it is again in work principles as well. Diagnose problems to get at their root causes. If you can learn just one thing from this book, it would be this. You need to understand cause and effect. If you do not diagnose things at their root cause, then you will never able to solve it, right? And people do not understand this equation. Everything in life is cause and effect, right? And if people could be better at diagnosing those root causes of the problems in their health, in their relationship, in their work, in their business, anywhere, their life would be much better. And even for me, right? If I wouldn't be able to solve my issues, my health issues, right? I was struggling big time with various things that nobody was able to help me with. Our healthcare is basically useless in basically, if you don't want to just keep popping drugs, if you just want to keep popping drugs and deteriorating your health even further, then probably it's okay. But and I'm not saying there are great doctors, right, with great hearts, but the system is just broken. And just in my business as well, when I make mistake, when something is not working correctly, I try to find why it's not working, right? What has gone wrong? Because if I don't find those things, then I'm not able to adjust to my next try, right? So I can make it work on the next attempt. So the diagnosing the root cause of things and problems is super important. If we can just take away one thing from this video that I'm doing for you today, do what you set out to do. So many people, what I have noticed is that many people will tell themselves and others, oh, I'm going to start working on myself. I'm going to get in shape in 3 months. And the more they keep saying that, the more BS it is, right? And you can even say, like, if that person is overly talking what he's going to do, it's probably the person that he's never going to do it. And then you have others who don't say shit. And when you look at them 1, 2, 3 years later, they are in shape, their business is thriving, and so that's the person you want to be. And there is nothing wrong with sharing your goals and the things that you want to do, but if you say something that you are going to do, when you set something out that you are going to do it, then just do it, right? So, guys, principles, super important, right? This is great picture, right? Goals, machine, outcome, check it out. Culture and people, and that's your machine, right? So machine, you have goals that goes into machine, and you get outcomes, and that machine is controlled by culture and people. Simple equation, but it's really awesome. So guys, if you if you learn something, just hit that like button, right? Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on other videos, so you can learn something. And let me know what was the best principle that you liked, what I've shared with you below in the comments. I'd love to know. I will get back to you. I reply to everyone. And yeah, now you can watch my other videos that will show up right here, and just click on it. So, and it will take you to the next video. All right. So thanks for jumping in on today's YouTube video, and I will see you on the next one.